Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee with Bobbi. Today I'm having coffee with Suze Ford. Suze is an amazing artist based in Kansas City metro area. Making art is a gift she was given, a deep-seated passion that sings to her soul unlike anything else ever has. Her hope is that her artwork will soften hearts, bring joy, hope, and light to this world. Suze, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's been happening in your world?
Right now, survival mode. So I'm a full-time artist and I have three kids and a new puppy too, actually. So I'm super busy, just maintaining the day-to-day like any mom, a wife does. And then, I'm being creative, making work, and then handling the business side of what that all entails as well. So right now, my focus is I work in different mediums. Oil painting has always been like I'd say my first love. So I started oil painting when I was like 15 years old, believe it or not. And so I'm continuing oil painting. And then this last fall, I started working in ceramics. And it was just kind of a fun little thing that I've always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to try. And I just kind of one day said, well, why not? I'm going to go for it. And so I just dug into figuring out the ceramic process. So now, sort of my two mediums of focus are oil painting and ceramics.
First off, I have to say your ceramic line is so fun and so vibrant. Like I have one
Oh.
of your mugs right here. And it's just like opening the package and seeing all the layers and like I could stare at this mug and find something new every time I
Oh,
took
that's
off of it.
exciting.
Like
Yay.
it's like a ball of sunshine in my
Oh.
hands. And that's the vibe that I get from all of your pieces, from the oil paintings that I've seen, the ceramic lines. How would you describe like your art style?
Well, it's really evolved over the years. My work used to be, I've gone from figurative work to more whimsical work. So it's interesting. And when we were talking earlier, telling me about like, the messages you would put on top of your photographs and things like that. I used to kind of do that too. I used to write a lot and journal a lot, and I would include that in my pieces. And just as my works like as you evolve with as a person, I think as an artist, you feel the need for your work to evolve too. And I never wanted to get stuck in one place. And as you grow, you want your work to grow as well. And so now my work has gone more in the abstract direction where it's purely abstracted. My work is really color focused. So playing with color, color combinations. It's about the physicality of the actual painting process, which is very therapeutic for me. And I don't know. I feel like anything goes at this point with my work. So it's just about expressing what I'm feeling in the moment. And I feel like if as I keep growing and developing, I'm just excited to see where things go. I never see things kind of staying stagnant in one place.
And that is so key because the moment that we stay stagnant in anything, that's where our growth is hindered.
Hmm.
Anything in life, and especially in art, because you could still, like I could still be taking those pretty landscape photos and putting an inspirational message behind it, but deep down knowing like this isn't what I'm meant to do anymore. And we
Yeah, you're made for more.
you right, and you have to continue to evolve, and it's just like, oh, this is great and all, but I need something else.
Yeah, yeah. And I think in the way that the world is right now with like social media, it's really easy to, let's say on TikTok or Instagram, you post something and people really like it and you get great feedback. And it's easy to get tunneled into something because people are like, oh, but we really love this thing. And when you try to branch away from that, sometimes you can get some negativity because you are changing and people want to see you in this doing this same thing all the time. And but I think our souls just long for more. Like, I believe we were put here for a purpose. And I think we're just constantly, I know I am every day just trying to dig deeper into that purpose. And I don't know, it's like every day I feel like I haven't even like began to reach it. Like I'm, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much more, but I just don't know what that entails and where that journey is leading me. But yeah, I completely get it. It's like there's nothing wrong with your photographs with your messages on them. There was nothing wrong with my work that was whimsical. I enjoyed it and that was my work at the time. Um, but you're just feeling like, okay, but I got to dig deeper, you
Right.
know? And my voice needs to be heard. And what's that voice supposed to say and how's it supposed to say it and who am I supposed to be saying this to? And those are the questions that I think, we don't necessarily have the answers for, but we're searching.
And everybody's searching. And it's that moment that I feel like we let ourselves go deeper and don't close it off. Cause like it's really easy to close it off and be like, okay, well, this is working and I'm not going to do anymore, or dig deeper. But it's that sort of like tension and soul shift where you're like, okay, I really have to pause. I have to focus on me. I have to dig deep. Like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, I, it's like, what should I do and what I must do? It's like, well, I could do all these should things, all these things I should be doing. And a lot of that can be tied to financial rewards. Your business is doing well. Why would you change it? If you're successful financially, then like they say, if it's broke, don't fix it. But you might be broken. You know what I mean? Like you might not be settled and happy in that place. And so, um, yeah, it's, and especially, I mean, a lot of times if you have this like thing inside of you that you want to do, there'll be naysayers or people that, don't believe in you, but you believe in yourself and you just have to, if you don't try, how do you ever know?
Exactly. And I felt too, especially as I stepped out and from doing like more event marketing into motivational speaking and a new creative endeavor, that the people that have the most judgment against you or like come at you with different things like the naysayers and so forth are the ones that didn't actually go for their dreams.
It's true. It's totally true. Yeah, I think jealousy can just be, it can be a really evil thing. And it's easy to get jealous. But I always tell myself it's like, first of all, I mean, I have friends. In fact, one of my good friends is an artist as well here in Kansas City. He we have this little joke because there was like this thing that I told him about that he should apply for, and I was going to
Mhm.
apply for it. And he totally got it. And not only did he get what we were applying for, but he knocked it out of the park and he built this amazing relationship through this and whatnot. And it's funny because I'm always like, you know what? Like, you just listen to me. I'll tell you what to do. And then, and it's like, I have I come up with these things and they end up working phenomenally for him and not for me. But first of all, I'm elated and so happy for him because he's this amazing human and you just can't help but want to root for him. But at the same time, I just always look at life like that wasn't for me. And there's a reason why it wasn't for me. And there's something else that's meant for me that was meant for him. And I'm glad I could be a part to facilitate that in some way. And that always makes you feel good. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like my path is my path and it's not, I don't know, if someone else has success in some way, it's not taken away from me. You know, and I think if we get too distracted with what everybody else is doing, then I think it just can have a negative impact on your insecurities or your, um, why me? Why is it not working for me, but it's working for them? And, all these things. I've even found it actually be helpful. So I feel like there's trigger people in our lives. Sometimes there's people that trigger you and you're not really sure why. And it's not that it's anything with them, but sometimes there might be someone that they feel like it feels like they're doing all the things. Like they won the lottery, like whatever they do, it works. They just can't lose. They're doing all the things. I mean, their life from your point of view, it all looks so perfect and lovely. And I've just found that it might be good to unfollow those people or just hide maybe what they're posting for a while, because I think sometimes it can get to you and it can just make you feel bad about yourself. And not that you're not happy for that person, you totally can be, but if it's making you feel bad about yourself, maybe it can just distract you and keep your focus away from like where you should be, like just keep your eye on your game sometimes and
I'm
don't
gonna
worry what
stay
it.
on my lane and keep
Yeah,
going, and whatever they're doing over here, it looks good and it looks shiny, but you don't know all the layers.
right, exactly, all the layers. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, and that's their lane, as you said, like that's their game, that's not yours. And I always, I used to travel and do shows. I did art fairs, and that's really how I sort of really launched my business, was just kind of jumping into that. And I would apply to a ton of shows, and there'd be good shows that I would get into, and there'd be good ones that I wouldn't get into. But I always told myself there was a reason. Like just because of my faith, I believe that there's a reason why something happens or it doesn't. And just because a door closes, that could be a gift, not necessarily, a failure. And I mean, that's easy that you can go out to a show and you could zero. Like you could literally sit at a show all weekend and not sell one thing. It happens.
Actually, like be in the hole because you had to pay to actually get
Right.
there.
Yeah. See, with event planning, yeah, it's like the hotel, your vehicle, your gas, your food, your everything, and your booth fee and all that. And then, yeah, and then so then you're in the hole and you leave feeling just deflated. And it's funny because at the beginning of a show, you're always like excited, like, okay, I'm ready, all the possibilities. And then slowly through the show, if it's a bad show, you just feel like your inside just slowly sink just a little bit, just a little bit. And you keep trying to keep your good attitude. And normally I'd have like my sister with me or my mom with me, or a few times my husband went with me. And, so you try to kind of just make jokes and like have fun with it or whatever, and be lighthearted, make the best out of it. But so I always just keep that in mind, like, well, yeah, I didn't get into that show, and that could have been a $10,000 show or whatever. But you know what? It could have been a zero. And so I was probably just saved from a zero.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how I look at it. It's like, so I mean, any rejection that I get, I just always kind of look at it that way. Like, it wasn't for me. Probably there would have been something bad that would came out of it or whatever. And so God was just looking out for me. He
Yep.
saved me from it somehow.
We're closed and another one's going to open with a better opportunity that's
Yeah.
meant for you to meet somebody or for somebody to see your work and share it. That's one of the fun things that I did. So one of my last marketing tours was with Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day, the soap company.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So we did a bunch of art fairs, and then like we traveled across the US and different flower shows and so forth. And that was one of my fun things because like I felt the energy and I was helping create content for the brands and like help run our event setup, and just seeing like the artists, and I could see that look of like maybe it's been a hard weekend. Maybe like traffic hasn't been very good. But I would always make it a point while I was there to like connect with people, or if there was really fun pieces like yours from another artist or something else that like struck a chord with the brand, I would always try to share it. And even if it was like they thought it was a bad weekend, but you never know what's happening behind the scenes of like
Yeah.
somebody else who shares it and is like, oh wow, the brand actually shared my work today and tagged me in it. Like different things could help benefit somebody else.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so a lot of people wouldn't even think of that. I don't think people realize the gift of sharing. There's so many wonderful things you can do for people that it doesn't cost anything. And just you like tagging someone's art, and like obviously the brand you're working for is like high profile. And I mean, everybody knows that brand, right? And so that's so cool. I mean, I just feel like sometimes people forget about the little things and how big they can be. Like even those artists were having a bad show, but you never know, like if somebody posted or shared something that they could get like a commission down the road, or who knows what. And so of course in the art fair world, my group of friends, we'd always say like, well, just because this ended today doesn't mean that there's not something else that's going to come from this show down the road. So, which was very true. I mean, I had a lady one day email me just not that long ago, and she had held on to my postcard from a show, and I don't know how many years ago it was, like maybe 10 years ago. And she was asking about the pieces on this postcard and if I had prints of them. And I think the postcard was 10 years old. I
Wow.
mean, just, yeah, like stuff like that is not uncommon. I mean, well, that's kind of a big one, 10 years, but yeah, I mean, in fact, I've had clients from shows like, in fact, just recently, 10 years ago, that have started connecting with me again through my art. And yeah, so, sometimes I think slow is good. If you lay a good foundation and you're building good relationships with people and your clients, it's not all about like fast and, you know, um, going viral and blowing up. Like there's something to say about just, taking your steps each day, one day at a time, really caring about what you're doing. Like, when someone buys something, I like writing a letter, like with the package. I like making the package pretty, like just all those kind of stuff, like all these little things I think matter to people, you know?
It matters. And I noticed this the moment I got the box in the mail. Those of you watching and listening, like Susie sent me a box and I was like, we can have coffee out of the same mugs. And the unboxing video will be up for those who are listening to this. It's going to be up in a day or two before in the post. So you can find it. But yeah, like I noticed it from the tape on the outside of the box that you had. It was branded. And I was like, this lady knows packaging. Like, I know exactly what's in this box. And yeah, it was so bright, so colorful. The Everything was shipped perfectly, and like tons of bubble wrap and everything. But the elements that you included, like you said, the handwritten notes, the extra stickers, the cards, things like that, like over the top. I was like buying a bunch more stuff. So
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm so excited to hear that. I mean, I try to think about like what I would love. And if, obviously like what I do is not a something that people buy that's a necessity, right? You're buying it because you're treating yourself or treating someone. And so if I were to get something in the mail, like how would I want it? Like, what would I want to get? How would I want to receive that? And I don't know. I have fun like playing around with like different ideas of things that I can do, like the stickers. I had a really good friend that I grew up with, and she helped me with some of my sticker designs and ideas. And then she helped me design my tape too. And like when I got that tape, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, like my boxes are even gonna look pretty, So I don't know, those little things like are fun. So, why not do them?
Exactly. And it doesn't, I mean, sure, it took probably a couple of days of deciding what you wanted for the image and so forth. But that joy that you see, like from yourself putting a great package together and the customer receiving it, it hands down wins.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that that resonated with you because I don't know, it's just something fun that I like to do, and I like it to be a surprise, like people don't expect it, and I think that's like it's fun. It's fun to do.
Well, you know that joy that you like feel when you know that your fun Amazon package is coming
Yes,
and
yes.
it says out for delivery 4 blocks away.
Yeah, and you're like
I mean, that was
launching.
my boyfriend yesterday. He was like, the external hard drive says 4 blocks away. I got to make sure I get it in. None of these porch pirates are getting it. I was like, nobody's going to take your stuff. Like, it'll get here when it gets here. But that's the same joy when you bring in one of your packages. It's like the coffee mugs are here, the artwork's here.
Yeah, and I always through my website, people get a link too, so they can check their tracking, and so because I know I like to be able to do that. Like, what day is it actually coming? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
do when I order art supplies. I'm all over like, when is it gonna be here? When are my new paints gonna be here? My new brushes or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, it's just I don't know, and especially because I don't know. I feel like a lot of I don't know, a lot of women tend to I feel like and I shouldn't generalize, but in my circle, there are women that are more so doing things for other people and maybe not necessarily themselves. And so when I feel and I never know like is my is what they're ordering a gift or is it for themselves? But to me, I'm like, if they're really treating themselves like they deserve this, and I want them to feel that joy and feel good about it, because I just feel like we end up at the bottom of the list a lot. I mean, I buy my kids new wardrobes, of course they're growing, but every season they're getting new clothes, new shoes, they need something. I'm on Amazon ordering or like whatever the thing may be. And, you know, we tend to be more selfless and we kind of put ourselves at the bottom.
Right. It's like,
So,
oh, it's okay. This shirt only has 5 sands of paint on it, not 20.
yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, nobody's gonna see me anyway, right?
Gonna be back in my office or.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm the worst about it. I do get up in my morning routine. I do get up, I shower every morning, I put makeup on every morning, but that's just something that like makes me feel good to do that. Um, Plus I don't have the kind of hair I can just put in a cute messy bun like so I have to actually do my hair every day, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, we have to do things to, you know, make ourselves feel good, and it's easy to not to forget about it.
And I feel like there's also a point when we're talking about this self-care and prioritizing yourself. Like we all have so many different spinning plates going. And I posted about this, like I was helping out my grandmother and over with her every day, like helping out my mom and my sister and like making sure my relationship's going well with my boyfriend and making sure all the plates are going. And then at the same time, like, I'm like, where's the time for me? Like, I've got all these plates spinning. Like, when's the crashing plate gonna happen?
Oh
And
my gosh, yes.
it's the same like for moms or people who are caregivers or anybody who's got like business stuff going, life, and they're trying to juggle everything. You're like, okay, like where's the balance gonna happen? And it's so key to like take that time for you, even in the times where there's like lots going on.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I still haven't figured that out yet. Like, I don't know. I don't know the whole word balance. Like I don't know if there is such a thing, but I think we all in some way try. I think once you start getting like where you're putting your focus somewhere way too much, the next thing you know, there's one of those balls that end up dropping. Um, so it's making sure you're paying attention to each segment of your life that's important. But yeah, I mean, I'm exhausted for sure, like a lot. Like when it's I can't wait to get my kids in bed so I can go to bed. I'm just and I wake up early. I try to be up between 5 and 5:30 so I can actually get time alone to paint. So for me, my work is alone time. Like that is something that is for me. So it's kind of like doing two things at once. Like it's my job, it's my work, but it is my love. So to me, like just creating and having that time to dedicate towards my business is something that I am doing for me. But as far as like, I don't know, like when people say self-care, like I don't know what that exactly means as far as like, I don't know. I know some women get their nails done or they go get their hair blow dried or I don't know, like those things I definitely don't do. And then since COVID, like I mean, the coffee, meetups with your friends, they just came to an end, and honestly, none of that has picked up. Like, and right now, my plate is so full, I don't even have that social time. Like, I don't even know when I'd fit in a coffee date. I mean, yeah, I know you gotta, I guess, you gotta make the time, I guess, but it's hard finding it. I don't know. If somebody's figured out the secret to that, then let me know.
I haven't figured it out, for sure. There's a bunch of us who are out there trying to figure it out, but I feel like at those moments, like, sure, not everybody wants to go get a manicure or their hair done all the time. I'm definitely the person, like my mom was asking me, like, oh, do you want to go get manicures done? And I'm like, Mom, I'm lifting heavy things a lot. Like, I'm playing outside. I go for runs. Like, what? Like, I haven't gotten manicures done since like years.
Oh yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Like,
I work with my hands, so I
right.
don't have pretty hands at all.
Yeah, I'm either like helping out doing woodworking projects or some random hobby and then running or working out in the garden. I was like, why would I spend $50 to get my nails done to get dirt in them and have them all chipped in 2 days? Like, to me, that's not
Yeah.
where self-care is. But for me, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a workout in today. Or
Yeah.
or do something like that, or as long as I have some time for myself doing whatever I want to do, like
Yeah.
that's where it is. And then for you, it's like having alone time in the studio to create.
Yeah. But you'll see even like in my TikTok videos, there's a lot of times that little people make an entrance in the middle of one of my time lapse paintings. Like they just walk in, I'm like, "Oh, go find your dad."
And
Like
work.
just not right now. Like I love you, but not right now. I mean, I do like my kids sometimes do hang out with me. Like if I'm doing my ceramics, it's easier. I sit at this table I'm sitting at right now, and um my girls will come, on different times and like try to help me do things and I think making them a part of the creative process is super cool. And I give them that if they're interested. I definitely never push them into it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think getting outside is a great thing. Like I used to, when COVID first hit last year, my husband would work kind of late, and it was the second he got home, I go, okay, bye, I'm leaving. And I just go and I'd walk and I put a podcast in my ear or an audiobook, um, some things that just were really spoke good to me, like peaceful things to listen to. And I just walk. I wasn't concerned about Fitness, I wasn't concerned about. I was just out to breathe fresh air and to be alone. And yeah, that was very valuable. Now it's been cold, so I mean, we just had snow 2 days ago here.
Yeah,
It was weird.
I missed it. I missed it. I was in Indiana. Everybody's like, we got so much snow, and I'm like, it was a little cooler here, but it's still warm. Since
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm glad I missed the snow for a day, but it
yeah,
will warm up. It will warm up. It's coming.
yeah, and it'll be too hot before we know it, because
Fun.
that's just the Midwest. You know, you get the cold of the cold, and you get the hot of the hot. Sorry, my dog is barking. If you can hear her.
Oh, that's okay. So, I love dogs. So how has it been, since we're talking more about like the kids and involving your children into the process and into your business? Have you started, I'm not for sure how old they are, but like, have you started having them like help you package items and sort of get the feel of it?
Yeah. So, well, my 3-year-old, no. So my youngest is 3, and he's with me during the day. So he's just, sometimes he'll hang out while I work, but most of the time I just spend my time with him and try to be present with him when I'm with him. Now, my other 2 are girls. I have a 7-year-old and an almost 11-year-old. So the 7-year-old is very interested in helping, and she likes me. I think she likes me. She likes hanging out with me. So she spends the most time with me. So she'll do things like mugs after they're fired, or any ceramics, they have to be sanded. So she'll like help me do that. And ceramic pieces need to be washed. My older one the other day, she washed them for me. She was doing that. Um, when I got like an order of cards in the mail, they like packaged them for me. So they put the envelopes with them and put them in the clear envelopes for me. So yeah, they do little things, but unfortunately, when you're an artist, it's hard because there's so much that has to be done by you. So I try to outsource, whether it's help from my kids or I have my husband put all the hangers on my paintings because I hate doing it. It's just something that I know he can just do quick, and I'm just here. You do that. So yeah, and my mom is really instrumental in helping me too. Like when I do my ornaments, she'll cut like all my ribbons for me.
Nice.
Yeah, and she used to travel with me when I was doing fairs. So she was awesome. She was hardcore. My mom is like no wimp. She's always up for let's do it. And I mean, she worked so hard with me through all those years that I was doing fairs, her and my sister. So it definitely takes like a tribe of people to be an artist. Even if I was going to do a local show, there's some great fairs here in Kansas City. And even just to do that, I mean, to have somebody taking care of the kids, I have to have somebody helping me with my setup. I have to have somebody help me take down my setup because it's so physical. I mean, it's a lot of work. Well, and then during the show, I have to have somebody there to help me out because the shows are really busy and a lot of people want to talk to you. So you need to have someone that can kind of help with customer service type stuff too. So yeah, it's a lot. So it's good for me right now that I can do so like my business really is so much online now and through just relationships that I've built, which is honestly it works great for me. I do miss seeing some people. I know you were talking about you're a people person, you love meeting people. I do too. I certainly do. But I always just think, well, maybe it's just a different time in my life that I might do in-person shows again. But for now, like, 3 kids and my youngest is 3.5. And I don't know. They're not going to be this little forever.
Yep.
So I embrace my time with them and try to be the best present mom that I can be. And so I don't look back with regrets that I mean, work will always be here, and I'll always figure out a way to create, because it's just such a big piece of me. I mean, it's just the gift I was born with, you know. But you know, I'm not. There's seasons, you know, and you know, right now it's like this season is like nuts. Um, but I love it. Like you know, I can't imagine doing anything else. Can't imagine not having my kids. I can't imagine not making art. So I just have to find that balance as we were talking about, whether that really exists or not.
It'll come. It'll definitely come. And what I was asking you about, like involving the kids, is my parents had businesses when I was younger. And it was always a joke because my mom at the time, travel agencies were like at its height. It was before the era of Expedia, and Priceline had their big
Hmm.
stuff. And I remember when I was in like middle school, high school, my mom had a storefront for the travel agency, and I would stock so many travel brochures. And then she would catch me because I'm like looking through these magazines of Hawaii and all this stuff. And I knew she got discounts, or it helps a customer book a trip or all this stuff, and plan out these extravagant vacations for people and honeymoons, and like, oh, well, you should go here. Oh, you want to go to St. Lucia? Let's check this out. And then it was like, so when are we taking these trips? Like, I want to go to Hawaii. Like, I want to go to
Right?
Mexico. And she's like, we sell the trips. You'll get your chance to travel soon enough. And at the time, I was like so mad. I was like, get the chance to travel. Like, I have the chance to travel. Like,
Like right now, let's go.
let's go. Like, you've got the discounts. But it was definitely one of those like life learning moments. And little did I know that, you know, a few years out of high school, like graduated college, and then I was moving abroad. And that's when the travel started to happen. And then I ended up traveling nonstop for years. And it's just
Oh,
funny how those moments like all come back full circle.
that
And
is funny. Yeah.
but I'm so grateful for that time. Like, even at, used to kid my mom and be like, this is slave labor. I'm not getting paid for this. I pay for your food. I pay for your gas. You have extra money to hang out with friends. It's all the same. and, and so, but yeah, there were moments like that. But then looking back, I'm like, this was such a blessing. Like, everything that I learned that I can apply to my own business today, and so forth.
Yeah. And that's so funny that you ended up traveling and that was such a big chunk of your life. So was
Yeah.
it all you hoped it would be? Like, did you love to travel? Because I think sometimes to say I want to travel can sound more glorious than it can be. Like sometimes like you're like, oh, this sounds great. And then you're like, maybe not.
Definitely were times like that, but I feel like those were more so at the burnout stages, because it wasn't
Yeah.
like travel for fun. It was a mix
Hmm.
of travel for fun plus travel for work. So
Yeah.
definitely there were those times where you're like, why am I going back to Wisconsin again? There was one year that
Right.
had so many events in Wisconsin and Chicago that some of my close friends who were on a couple of those projects with me, they were like, Bobbi, Wisconsin's your new home. And I was like, I don't want Wisconsin to be home, guys. And they're like, can we buy you this shirt that had, you know, the state shirts, and it was
Yeah,
Wisconsin and it said home. And I was like, please don't buy that for me. Like,
that's funny.
save your money.
Well, you know, I did go to Madison to do a show, and I thought Madison was a great town.
Yeah.
But
It,
yeah, I know what you mean. There's some places that you know, are a little lackluster.
well, I mean, I was just up there so much that just turned into like everybody else was in the industry, you know, everybody's going all different ways in different cities.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, I'm in LA today, or oh, I'm going to the beach on my day off. And then they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, sitting in Wisconsin again. Like,
Just hanging in Wisconsin.
uh, but no, the travel life, it's definitely has so many blessings, like from a perspective of like travel for fun and traveling for work. Like the people that I met definitely made the trips. And
Yeah.
and this is like even when I was traveling for fun, or like I told you, and I've told on this podcast before, like I meet people all the time, whether it's sitting at a restaurant, if I'm eating by myself at the bar, or at the coffee shop and learning the lay of the land. And I have a way with meeting people, and that definitely helps the trips. That definitely helps the travel. But I wouldn't change it any other way. Would I go back to doing 100% travel life? Probably not. But having
Yeah.
a balance in the mix of being like, oh, I want to go to Mexico tomorrow. Okay, well, let's see if we can make it work. Or, oh, there's plenty of
Right.
air miles there for it. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and I think, some things are good for a period in your life, and then you do it and you had fun with it, and then you move on to the
Mhm.
next thing, and there's something else great waiting for you. And, you know, um, so you have that phase in your life, and then who knows? Like maybe one day you'll do more fun traveling and not Wisconsin.
Right. And not a whole lot of work travel. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it all works out. Like I went on it's funny because like after you do like the event work and you're on the go doing 70-hour weeks for months on end, you hit this burnout phase. And so I ended up taking a 6-month sabbatical where all we did was travel. Um, and
Oh.
at the end of it, I was like, I'm so tired. Like, when is the break? Like,
You're
clearly
like, now I need a break from my break.
it was good we were seeing friends and family and just traveling for fun too. But it was like, oh, like I'm ready for a house, like a kitchen. Like, what is this life? And it
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, not living out of a suitcase, and yeah, having your own bed at night. And yeah, it's funny, I used to be a night person, and then just because of the transition in my life, like I used to be pretty productive at night and I would create at night, and now I'm the opposite. Now it's the morning. And I wouldn't ever say I'm a morning person, but I've evolved to become more of a morning person. And at night, I'm ready to go to bed early. Like we don't my husband and I, we don't stay out late. We like our idea of a nice evening is just the kids in bed, and we hang out and maybe watch something on Netflix, for a little bit before we see who falls asleep first. Like
Oh,
it's
I'm
just,
game over. I'm that old person. I'm in bed early. Yeah,
yeah, I
same.
am too. I am. Yeah, like yeah, but I'm okay with it. Like you know, I love our life, should I say. I don't like our life. I do love our life. Is it perfect? No, but nobody's life is. And um whenever I get overwhelmed, I just start counting my blessings. Like I've been through a lot, like with my kids and just getting my kids into the world. And I just look at them now and I'm just like, gosh, I'm just so blessed, like truly. Um, I mean, there's things that I always wanted in my life that now I do have, like, and I don't ever want to take those gifts for granted. So it's easy to, you know, sometimes you're just tired and worn out and you know, and the daily grind, I think, are the tough days, just the daily routine. Sometimes we all get in that grind and maybe we just kind of get worn out. But if you stop, you take a moment, I think, for yourself. I do love like doing like prayer and meditation and things like that, where I can just try to calm my mind and really focus and just focusing on like how amazing life is, like how many beautiful gifts that I do have. And, um, despite all my mistakes and, everything, I'm just very fortunate. So, the good outweighs the bad.
on any given day.
Yeah.
And when you can take that time, even if it's a couple seconds or minutes, and just say, like, I am grateful for this and I have this today. Like, I woke up today and everybody in my circle is still alive that I care about. Or
Yeah.
I got outside and I saw the sunshine. Or, I laughed today. Those little things matter. And the more grateful that you are from it, I feel like more blessings can come into your life that you'll realize. And
It's true.
even a little faster, it's like the cup that like keeps overflowing. Like it'll just keep pouring in and pouring in.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like I just think of my kids, like they have that book that's like it's about your bucket being full. And sometimes at the end of the day, I'll look at my husband and be like, I feel like my bucket is so empty right now. Like I'm just like have nothing left to give. But then like if you do start counting those blessings, it's like you're filling your own bucket back up. Like, yeah, it was a tough day. But you know what? I did it. I got through the day. I I freaking did some things. Like I accomplished some great things today. Like I don't know how, some days I look at my day and I'm like, I don't know how I did everything I did. Not like patting myself on the back, but just there was a lot going on and somehow we made it. And so, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just I don't know. I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a believer. So some days I don't even know what to say, but I just feel like God knows what's in my heart. And I
Mhm.
just lay there and I'm just like, God, just feel what I'm feeling. I know you know what I'm feeling. I don't even have words for it. And it brings me peace. Like, so yeah. So I guess that's what fills my bucket back up.
I completely agree with you. I'm the same way. Like you just pray and like take all the worry away, and like have that peace, because a lot of times it's the outside worry like playing on your minds and the fear creeping in. You're like, just fill my life with more love, like focus on the love and it'll outweigh all the fear.
Yeah, for sure. And just having faith that knowing that God knows better than I do. So even in the hard things, like I'm being prepared for something, like even if it's tough now, like I'm learning a hard lesson maybe or going through something, but in the end, it's better for me somehow. But I might not have the understanding. Um, so yeah, it's like it's the serenity prayer, like, just help me, Lord, to understand like the things I can change and the things that I can't, and just give me the peace to be okay with that. Like, um, and I think that helps because it takes it off of your shoulders. Like you're giving it away. Like this is not on me. This is I'm giving this to you, and just help me to give me some guidance and I'm here with you. Like, get me through this.
Yes, yes, preach it. I, I'm on the same wavelength. Susie, what's some of the new, like, what's one thing that you're looking forward to coming up?
Oh gosh, what am I looking forward to? So so because I got into working in ceramics, right now I'm playing around with all kinds of different shapes and vessels and things. I've gotten a lot of requests for some fun like things to create on. So that I'm excited about. I've kind of branched out from like mugs to like planters and vases, different drinkware. I had this is funny. I had a crazy overwhelming request for dog bowls. People want me to paint
That
dog bowls, and we have a new puppy, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, I had this overwhelming like people saying paint dog bowls. So anyway, who knows? Who knows what's going to come in the ceramic realm. And then I have a whole new body of oil paintings that I'm working on that's really being informed a lot by the ceramic pieces. So I'm excited. I'm trying some new things with those. I always have commission paintings going, which is a great way for me I see it as collaboration, really. So I've got that going on. And then I also paint, which I haven't talked about. I paint on silk,
Ooh,
and I have a designer in California that makes them into clutches. And I haven't had a collection release in a while because of COVID. My designer, she's had a lot going on, but I'm looking forward, hopefully this year, to have another release of clutches too.
that's
So
all.
that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of like my media. And then I even I bought a kiln, so that's exciting.
Hey, that's
Um,
more ceramics.
I know. Yeah, I'm so excited. But because of COVID, I won't have it till like June or July. So I still have to use a local ceramic studio to box up my stuff, take it there to fire, and then pick it back up again, which is a logistical pain, but it is what it is for right now. So yeah, that's kind of what's on my plate. And
Ooh,
then summer's around the corner. So
yes. Time outside, hanging out with the kids, and
yeah,
sure. What's
yeah.
one of the biggest blessings for you over the past year?
Hmm. Gosh. Um, I think just truly feeling creatively inspired and excited. I have this like childlike passion in me, just like when you're a kid and you just get a new box of crayons. Like I've had that feeling working with the ceramics and my oils again. I've taken some time where I've backed off from my work a little bit, never completely stopped, but when my son was born, we had a lot of complications and whole other story. But I had to back away a little bit, and so now I'm just really just having so much fun. And I just think that that's one of the biggest blessings is that I think I backed away and I was obedient when I needed to be. And now I feel like I'm being led right now. And it excites me because I don't know, I think God's got some good things in store. And I just hope that I can fulfill a purpose that's bigger than myself through that. Um, so, yeah.
And I want to correct that statement. God's not only got good things in store for you, He has great things in store for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I
Great,
just
great things are happening for you.
Thank you. Well, meeting you and this conversation has been wonderful. It's like we were talking. I mean, like this is the next best thing to actually meeting in person, and it's so great to be able to speak to another woman, another human, about just our hearts and like life, and it's amazing to connect with people. And I feel very blessed that you found me and reached out to me, and it's like
We
things
got
like this happen in an unexpected way. You don't expect them, and then you get this gift in return. And so I want to thank you for that.
Oh, and thank you for coming on the show. Before we end this, where can people find out more information about you, social media, website, and so forth?
Basically, my website's probably the best place to go, which is suseford.com. And I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok now, having some fun on TikTok. So just two different platforms. And everybody has their own sort of, I think, social media place that they enjoy the most. So find me on either one of those. And yeah.
And whether you are listening to this or watching this, you can find all the ways to connect with Suze below in the notes, in the caption notes for it. So you can find all the links to find her amazing work, just like these beautiful ceramic mugs that are my new favorite. So you guys are going to be seeing these in lots more episodes on here. I thank you again, Suze, for joining us and sharing about life and the art worlds and trying to have this balancing act through it all.
Thank you. I think you helped me. So I appreciate your
There we go.
time.
It's a win-win for all of us.
Right.
You everybody who is listening and watching this today, I just want to leave you with this. Take 5 minutes at least out of the day for you. Find some time, do what you love, have that self-care moment, have those moments of gratitude, and you will be so much better off. And this has been another episode of Coffee with Bobbi and today's guest, Suze Ford. Thank you so much.